Hello, I'm Joe Schneider and I'll be your host for assembling a McCallum chair from Staples. Not a hard thing to do, I don't think. So you take all the parts out of the box. See, the box is now empty, it doesn't have anything in it. You got all the parts out there. Anyway, take all the parts of the box. You take the box and put it somewhere else so you have some room to do your assembly. Okay, then you take the pair of scissors, because I always tape all this crap together really tight. You take a pair of scissors, hopefully it's a good pair of scissors that you can use to get into this stuff, and you try to find the directions, and hopefully they're somewhere in English. But yeah, once you do that, you should be able to get, might need some basic tools. You might need like a screwdriver or something like that, but you can probably do it all with some pretty simple tools, really, honestly. They give you all the screws and they're all marked and they're all numbered in parts, no doubt, so it should be pretty easy. Then you take this manual, this McCallum, the leather bonded chair, the model number is 58065. And these are the instructions on how to assemble the chair. And it's going to be really easy. I mean, honestly, I'm just doing this for some people that might be mechanically challenged. But anyway. Okay, so here we go. Tilt, tension, upright lock, height adjustment. So let's just go on to the assembly stuff. Yeah, the good stuff. Okay, so step number one, we can get these really 10 pages long. Step number one, we have all the parts that are included. You should probably check and make sure you have all the parts that you need. Although I'm probably just going to go ahead and assemble it and hope that I have all the parts I need. Okay, anyway, so I've got all the stuff for part A. I've got the base, I've got the casters. The gas lift is somewhere. That's on all of these chairs. You know, they have the little pneumatic gas lift that you put on the base of it. That's the base. This is it. Oh, this is it. This is the pneumatic gas lift. So there you go. Oh, there you go. So that'll work for that. Okay, now what you do is you gotta have a trash can because you're gonna have to throw away some of your crap. So anyway, okay. So you do this. I think I've got all the parts. I've got the upper and lower part. I've got the armrest. I've got the seat. I've got the gas lift, the telescope cover, the back, the base, the casters, and I think I have all the screws and the caps for, I think, the sides of the armrests. Okay, so basically, the step number one is, well, tools provided, Allen wrench. I don't know if it doesn't really say you need anything else, so maybe that's it. I don't know. We'll see. So, step number one, you take the caster base, which is this thing right here, and you get it unpacked because it's got a lot of crap on it. So you gotta take all this is cardboard, so we'll recycle this, I guess. So, and then you got the caster base, has a little bubble wrap on it, so I guess you probably just need to cut that off of here. So all these little, looks like a big starfish. So all these things just kind of slide off, you know, make it easier on yourself. And then they all should basically like slide off. So all this stuff should be pretty much easy to take off. I'm gonna save that bubble wrap for packing if I need to, you know, recycling green shit. Okay, so here's the caster base. Now, what you're supposed to do with the caster base is, voila, imagine that. Put the caster rollers on the caster base. So, again, here's where your handy dandy scissors come into play. You just cut the caster bag off. You slide these into the holes on the caster base. Be careful not to pinch your hand. So that's one. There's 5 of them. You just kind of go along the way and slide them all in. That's 2. That's 3. This is 4, and this is 5. So you got all the caster bases slid in. Okay, great, fantastic. Now you want to put the gas lift and the telescoping cover onto the top of the base. So you flip it over. I'm gonna put this on the ground because it makes it easier. Okay, so I've got that. Take my trusty handy dandy pair of scissors, like I said, was good to have because you're cutting open a lot of packing and stuff. Because they pack it really good to resist any kind of scratches or damage, because you know, FedEx and UPS guys don't really give a crap about being gentle any longer, and Amazon people as well. So, they usually pack it up pretty good, so it really doesn't matter. So here's your gas lift, right there, and there's your telescope cover. Imagine that. Anything else in there? There's something else in there. What else is in there? Oh, it's the largest part of the telescoping cover. Wow. And this, we'll put this in the cardboard. Okay, now we're trying to be green here. We're trying to recycle and reuse all we can. You know, God forbid. So, okay, so this is the telescoping arm or cover for your little CD. So then you take this and you put the, believe it or not, you put the little green top, the small end on top, and then this black part you put down into the base. So you just slide that in just like that, easy. Then you put your little telescoping cover right over top of your little gas lift thing, and that's step number 1. Step number 2, you take the base of your seat, which basically, is this. Here's your seat base, your pneumatic thing. And then you've got your seat base that's actually the leather part that, oh, we need to recycle this because we want to be green. So, okay, so now you take your seat base, which is the big, nice leather base that, and don't get me wrong, the fabricated leather, the pleather, it's not real leather, it lasts for a pretty good amount of time. I think I've had that old chair right there for a while, but it just, what happens is the pleather stuff starts wearing out and peeling off and getting all over your floor, and it's really irritating. And this, it probably too, and also as well, the cushioning in the chair just kind of goes bad too, because you know, let's face it, these things aren't made to last forever. But you can pay a couple more dollars, I mean, like maybe 20 more bucks, and get a real leather chair, which I highly advise. So. Now here's what you do. You've got this, and you can take all these little things. Oh, by the way, this is made in Vietnam, not in the United States. But hey, that's better than being made in China, right? So what you do, second step, you put the front of the seat this way, and then you take your pneumatic base with that on the far side. And then you take your screws for your pneumatic base and you put them in the seat. So that would be screw number B and A. So there's A. So you take your handy dandy scissors and you cut out that's A. And the A's fit in the front of the seat here. And the B's are going to fit in the back of the seat. So they're going to fit. Oh shit, okay, wait, hold on. My bad. You should do it on this way because that's the front and this is the front. It's pretty easy because it says front and front. You can't make a mistake. So I'm kind of around backwards from the directions, but I'm facing this way. But anyway, same directions. So you just screw the A screws into the front of the base on the bottom of the chair, the chair seat. And then you take the B screws, which must be a little bit shorter, and you cut them out of your plastic, they're all labeled with your handy dandy scissors, and then you take the B screws and you put them in the back. And oh, by the way, all these have thread lock on them, which is kind of cool, so they won't probably come out of your chair, which that's a good thing. So then you take your little handy dandy Allen wrench, which actually comes with the chair. So and your little parts thing, like you can cut it out with your little handy dandy pair of scissors. It might not be that this is all you need to assemble this chair. Possibly, maybe so. So then you take your, once you just screw these in by hand and you got the threads going good, which is probably pretty good to do that first, then you take this little Allen wrench and you just screw the screws in there. And dude, you're happening. You've got, you know, 2 of the steps done of, I don't know how many steps, but 2 already done. Once you screw this in, screw that in, screw this in, like that. And then you screw your other front screws in. I'm not gonna screw them in like really, really tight. I'm just gonna screw them into where they fit, and then I'll tighten them all up here in a second. So you do that, and we're 10 minutes into it, and we're already probably not halfway through it, but we're close. So screw in all your screws for your chair base, for your pneumatic chair base, into the bottom of your chair seat. So there you go. That's good. So that one's pretty tight. This one, let's see, that's a little shorter that way, so I think I'll be able to screw it that way, yeah. So screw that in. Doesn't have to be really tight, just tight enough, because probably the materials in the chair bottom are probably not all that great. You don't want to strip them, just get them to where they're tight, not too overly tight, you know. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So they're all tight now. So all you have to do, now you've got this built, so now you go to step 3, which is, you take, pretty simple. You take this bottom of the thing, you put it on the pneumatic thing on the base of the little starfishy base of the chair. So you just take this, and you just flip it around, and you put it on the pneumatic base. Pretty simple. Goes right there on the base. And there's the bottom of your chair. Hey, look. Bottom of the chair, see it? You're good, bottom of the chair. And it all looks great, man. I mean, and you've got the little thing there ready to go. So, all right, so now step 4, you're gonna put the sides of the chair, the armrests of the chair on. Now, you don't have to, if you don't want armrests on your chair, you don't have to put armrests on your chair. But, again, you take your little handy dandy pair of scissors and cut open the little thing. Makes it a lot easier. And there's the right side chair rest, which again, this being leather is going to last a little longer than the pleather because it's sewn and it's not quite as chintzy. So anyway, this goes on the right side of the chair. So it would be, let's see, probably, yeah, because this part faces out where you put the little finishing panel on. So the right side of the chair, and you use screws C, which there should be probably like 4 screws for part C. And there are, just come out of your little handy dandy parts thing. And they've got yellow thread lock on them. You just take that and you put, I would just put your chair on the side, and you'll see the screws that are going into the leather part of the seat. You just basically, here I'll move it over a little bit. You just basically line it up with, you know, where the screws are, right like that. And you can probably use your little handy dandy Allen wrench, and you just stick it in there and you just get it loaded to where it's right there. It's pretty easy, and just screw it in a little bit. I wouldn't screw it all the way in, just screw it in a little bit to get it keyed in there. And then you take, well shit, it's not working. Okay, so then you got to do this with the Allen wrench. You can't do it with your hands and get it threaded with your hands because it's recessed, so you can't get down in there. So, and then you take your other one, you know, not a big deal. You just get it in there and get it right, you know, not a big deal. Just get in there until it engages, and then you're good, you know. So there's those 2. And once you get them both in, you can start to tighten them up. It's no big deal. So you get them tight, you know, where they're gonna be tight on the chair, you know, snug on the chair. Just get them all tight with your Allen wrench. I'm tightening them up right now and getting them tight with the Allen wrench, no big deal. I'll move back a little bit so you can see kind of what I'm doing a little better. So see, I'm screwing the little hex bolts into the chair. Not a big deal. You have to do it, I guess, to where they don't work, to where the armrests don't move around. You know what I mean? So you do that till you get, you know, till you get tight. I don't know what, you'll hear the leather kind of squeak because it's got to be fairly tight so your arm stays stable, you know what I mean? So, I've gotten in pretty good. That's pretty much basically it for that side. Then you just take the chair and you flip it over, and you take the left. Oh, sorry, I just knocked over my question. And you take the left side. You cut your other bubble wrappy on out with your handy dandy pair of scissors, just like this. And then you save your bubble wrap if you want to, so you can ship things in there later on. Okay, so remember we're trying to be green here, recycling. So now, okay, you take your other two yellow thread lock screws that are about 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches long or something like that. They're hex bolts. And then you take that and you line that up in that first spot on the front, and basically screw that in. Get it going. And then you take the other one, and remember the part of the back chair where it's going to be bolted to the upright, the backrest. Remember that part has to be in the back of the chair, so that's why you have that in the back of the chair. You know what I mean? So make sure. Oh shit! I just did this wrong. So I'll pause, and I'm going to switch around the thing. Because what I did is I put it on backwards, because that's actually the front of the chair here, and the back of the chair's there. So I'm going to have to pause, and then once I get done with that, I'll rejoin you guys. Okay, so just flip them around. Make sure the front of your chair and the back of where the top thing bolts in is opposite.